I really should burn this. I don't deserve to wear it anymore. A man died because of my foolishness.
The killer's a ruthless one, Victor. Now, bringing a real samurai sword to the party wasn't the best move, but he would have killed someone if you'd gone as a geisha.
Okay. Detective!
Professor?
You can play.
Any word?
The results from the fingerprint analysis on the sword are in.
What did they show?
Victor's prints, along with 3 other sets.
Whose?
Eve Lambert, Joe Scanlon, and the victim's ex-wife, Courtney Canellos.
Morning.
How'd you sleep?
Like a log. You want a waffle? I'm making them for Neil.
No, thanks.
Okay.
You sure you're okay?
I'm fine.
Your ex-husband was murdered last night.
Yes. And I hate the fact that my son lost his father. But I'm not going to be a hypocrite and pretend that I'm all broken up over John's death. He was planning to steal my child, Julie.
You think he deserved to die?
No one deserves what happened to John. But I'm not sorry he's dead.
Eve, Joe Scanlon, and Courtney Canellos. Not a very likely list of suspects.
We'll see. Victor, what can you tell me about who handled your sword last night?
Well, the first one was Eve. It happened right here at the lighthouse.
Yeah, I was here. Victor's sword fell off. Eve picked it up and she handed it back to him.
What else?
But at the party, Joe Scanlon was impressed by my samurai sword ritual, and he tried a few moves on his own.
And Courtney Canellos?
Well, I don't remember her touching the sword at all, but after I lost it in the funhouse, anybody could have got hold of it.
None of these people is the general homicide killer.
This death might not be connected to your book. Look, Kevin, in a murder investigation, the first person we look to is a family member. In this particular case, I have a family member with both motive and opportunity.
You mentioned a custody battle.
Yeah.
Did you find something that might suggest that Courtney Canellos killed her ex-husband?
My men searched John's hotel room. They found a phony passport for Neil and 2 one-way tickets to Greece.
Abducting a son? Well, that could certainly be considered a motive on Courtney's part.
And as to opportunity, the party provided plenty of that.
It's only one scenario. There's still plenty of evidence that suggests that the serial killer did it. Eve and I both found notes that baited us into the maze where the killing took place. He was there.
Or someone wanted us to think he was. Look, Kevin, not every murder in Port Charles is the work of the general homicide killer.
Now, are you sure you don't want one?
I couldn't possibly eat.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna go get Neil for breakfast.
Hey, how you feeling?
So much for hoping this Halloween would be different. When will it stop?
Last night is over.
Well, it certainly is for Courtney. Her ex was murdered a few hours ago, and this morning she's playing happy homemaker, making waffles like nothing ever happened.
Everyone reacts differently to trauma. Some people cry their eyes out. Some make waffles.
The woman's ex-husband was run through with the sword. No one could be this cold. It isn't normal.
Maybe Courtney is trying to hold it together for Neil.
Well, I'm not buying it.
Courtney despised John. I would be suspicious if she acted devastated by his death.
Frank, when my father was murdered, there was a lot of bad blood between us, but I was still upset.
Julie, have a cup of coffee.
No, I was poisoned once in this house, and I'm not going to let it happen again. Last night was a warning, and I'm not taking any chances.
Julie, it's just coffee.
You think I'm crazy, don't you? Well, what about Courtney? She could have killed John.
Julie.
No, how long has she been in Port Charles? Was she here before the murder started?
Julie, relax. You're safe. We're all safe. Courtney is not a killer. All she did was make waffles.
Don't patronize me, Frank. Who's to say Courtney isn't the general homicide killer?
You'll let us know when you hear anything, won't you?
Absolutely.
Garcia is way off base if he thinks someone's copycatting the general homicide murder.
How can you be so certain?
Because there's a method to the killer's madness. The clues he left at the party, the phone calls, all this fits the profile that we know.
Don't you think we should consider for a moment the possibility that Garcia might be right? After all, John Canellos wasn't a character in your book.
That's true. But you're the one who pointed out that Joe Scanlon is in the book, and he came to the party dressed just like John did, dressed as a knight.
So you agree that the murderer may have been after Joe Scanlon and killed the wrong person?
Or he's veering from his game plan, which means he's losing control.
What do you think his next move will be?
I don't know. He could begin to kill randomly, no longer using the book as a blueprint. Or he could kill more often. Whatever it takes to give him the sense of power that he craves.
Do you think he's losing control because he just made a mistake?
I don't know, but something's shaking him up. He's vulnerable. And if I make contact with him now, I could get him to drop his guard, and I know exactly how to do it.
You want to go back on the radio?
I don't have any choice.
Monk?
We're talking about someone who's becoming increasingly desperate, and that can only mean an escalation in the violence. I have to contact the killer now, before he takes another life. Or lives.
You were up early this morning.
Oh.
Garcia,
Good morning.
what can I do for you?
I am here to question everyone that was at the Halloween party.
You already interviewed us all last night.
That was just the beginning. Who else is here?
Just Courtney and Neil and John.
And Frank and Julie and Lark went to the hospital.
Ah.
Detective?
Garcia wants to question us again.
How about I start with you?
Why do you have to talk to her?
He's questioning everybody who was at the haunted house last night, buddy, not just your mom. He just wants to figure out what happened, that's all.
Hey, I got a good idea. Why don't you come and have breakfast with Joe and me, and your mom can talk to the detective alone?
I'm staying with my mom.
Hey, sweetie, your waffle's getting cold.
I'm staying.
Honey, please, just go and have breakfast with Joe and Karen, and I will be in there as soon as I can, okay?
That's all right.
All right, go
Come on, buddy.
Tell me how your fingerprints got on the murder weapon.
Maybe you're used to seeing bloody corpses, but I'm not. I saw John, and I moved the sword to get to him. I really didn't think about fingerprints or crime scene evidence.
I had John's hotel room searched. We found 2 one-way tickets to Greece, along with a passport with Neil's picture and a phony name. Were you aware that he intended to kidnap your son?
I knew.
You mentioned there was a custody battle.
Yes, and I hired a lawyer. I didn't kill my ex-husband.
Be that as it may, you can't deny that John Canellos' murder is very convenient.
Detective, there is a serial killer on the loose. I suggest you look for him. I had nothing to do with John's death.
Listen, I'll tell you what. I'm going to play hooky from work today, and you and I are going to spend the whole day together and do whatever you want. How's that sound?
I want to stay close to my mom.
All right, well, your mom can come too.
I don't want to go out.
Okay, well, stay here, and when you get bored of beating me at basketball, we'll run a video.
Okay. Why do you think somebody killed my dad?
I don't know, buddy. Sometimes people are screwed up in the head and they do terrible things.
What if he tries to kill me or you, Karen, or even my mom?
I will not let anybody hurt you, your mom, or Karen. And you know I can certainly take care of myself.
See, I told you that was fast. Your turn to play 20 questions.
When I'm done, I'm going to come back here and help you finish that waffle. So what do you want, Garcia?
Where were you two at the time of the murder?
At the fun house.
Together?
No, we were separated. Actually, we didn't meet back up until I found Courtney and Julie with John's body.
Where were you before you saw Karen?
Just checking out the mummies. I heard the screams and I followed the sound.
Joe, your fingerprints are on the murder weapon. How'd they get there?
Well, I held it at the party. I've never seen a real samurai sword, so I asked Victor if I could hold it, and he said yes.
Did you see Courtney Canellis in the fun house?
No, not until I saw her at the murder scene.
You're pretty attached to her son, Neil, aren't you?
I'm his doctor, and he's a good kid.
I found evidence that Canellis was planning to abduct his son. Were you aware of that?
I knew what he was up to, but I didn't impale him with a sword to stop him.
Courtney's fingerprints were also on that sword. Think she killed her ex, Joe?
Absolutely not. Look, she's tough. I'm sure you figured that out by now. But she's not capable of killing anyone, yet alone her son's father. There is no way she is capable of such a terrible thing.
Do you think Detective Garcia will question me too?
Well, maybe. You don't have anything to worry about, honey.
I know.
So then why do you have all these worry lines on your forehead?
What if I say the wrong thing?
You won't. Just tell him the truth.
What if I say something I shouldn't, and I don't want you to go to jail.
Oh, honey, I'm not going to jail. The police, they just need to ask everybody questions so they can find the person that did this. And if you tell them the truth, then you're helping them find the person who hurt your father.
But I heard you tell Frank you wanted to get rid of Daddy.
Is that what has you so worried, honey? Well, sometimes when people get really mad, they say something that they don't mean, and I was very angry with your father when I said those things to Frank. But as angry as I may have been, I would never hurt him, because that would be hurting you. And I would never, ever hurt you. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Good.
I'm on the air today because I want to speak to the person responsible for the general homicide murders. Now, you warned me that you would kill again. But you made a big mistake, didn't you? You killed the wrong person. I know you pride yourself on your intelligence and precision, so it seems to me that you're slipping.
No, I want to listen.
If you are slipping, then you have a long, steep slope straight into hell. I often ask myself, are you a
I
man
have
or
to take this.
are you a
Are
woman?
you going to be okay?
Sure.
Obviously, you can only answer that question. But we both know that killing
Keep
is
an eye
a
on
way
it for me.
of reaching out. But you have options. You don't have to do this alone. Why don't you call me? Let me help you.
I'm off to work.
All right,
right, listen to me. You be very careful today.
I will. I'm going to call you on all of my breaks.
You gonna be checking up on me?
Yes. Neil's not the only one that's worried about you. You were wearing a knight's costume just like John, and I think maybe the killer might really be after you.
Hey, listen to me. I will tell you exactly what I told Neil, that I can handle myself. You know that. And I will keep my guard up at all times, I promise you.
Okay, just be very safe.
I will. The worst thing that'll happen today is wounded pride if Neil beats me at horse.
Okay.
Mwah.
Hello? Yeah, it's for you.
Hello? Yeah. You got the results back. Are you sure? That's great. Thank you.
What? What is it?
That was the lab. They got the results back from the DNA test. There's a 99% probability that I'm Neil's father.
So, Courtney was telling the truth. Well, what are you gonna do now?
I want to take my little boy in my arms and tell him that I love him, that he still has a father.
But what?
How can I? I mean, Neil is still grieving the loss of the only man he's ever known as his father. And the truth will only confuse him, and I don't want to add to his unhappiness.
You've killed 5 people. You've got this city living in terror, but I know it's not enough for you. I'm here to tell you that it will never be enough.
I can't listen to this anymore. It's too creepy.
Well, you're right about that.
Hey, you have a few minutes?
This isn't a social call, is it?
I just have a couple of questions.
Of course you do. I guess I should have expected this.
Doc, it's routine. There's nothing to worry about.
I've heard that before. Fire away.
Julie, think for me. Think back to when Courtney first found you with John's body. How'd she look?
How'd she look?
Did she have blood on her before you saw her touch the body?
Julie! Oh, God, Joe! 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 Somebody! Help!
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Hey, take it easy. Just think a minute.
All I remember is blood. His body and lots of blood. I'm sorry.
Julie,
I'm not
it's
myself.
okay. Hey, it's okay. You've been through a lot.
Well, since the murder, I've been scared out of my wits. It seems like there is no place that is safe.
There's a chance this isn't a general homicide killing.
Well, I'll try and find that reassuring.
Take care of yourself, okay? I'll be in touch.
You okay?
How am I supposed to get on with being a doctor and having a normal life when people keep dying and I have the misfortune of finding the bodies?
Gotta be terrible for you. Maybe you should speak to someone.
Are you telling me to see a shrink?
My way out of line?
No, I'm just sorry that it shows that I need one.
Look, I'm not a big fan of psychiatrists, but I don't know. Maybe it would help.
Well, at this point, I'm willing to try anything. Maybe I'll call Kevin Collins.
Well, we still haven't heard from you. I'd like to know what it feels like to make such a big mistake. Maybe you're just too embarrassed to call in. I suppose it could be a blow to your ego. But you should know that everyone, even you, makes mistakes from time to time. Except when you're a murderer, mistakes cost lives. Maybe even your own. This is Kevin Collins. You're on the air.
Oopsie daisy. I took a stab in the dark and killed the wrong knight in shining armor. Mea culpa. But luckily, I'm one of those people who learns from my mistakes.
What have you learned?
That I'd better do something pretty spectacular to make up for my little faux pas.
What do you have in mind?
Oh, I think it's time I continued my work on a grander scale.
Chat with Kim Schreiner, Port Charles Scott Baldwin today at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific on America Online. Keyword AOL Live.